What to do, fellas, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to get started with Arduino, what you need to get started with Arduino, and also we'll be going through a basic project to understand how the board works, how a breadboard works, and also how to understand the schematic of your circuit. So there's different ways of going about starting Arduino. I, for example, started with the Arduino starter kit. Seems very explanatory. In my personal opinion, I think it's a little bit overpriced for the projects that it include, and because you can get it cheaper. I will be teaching you guys how to do the projects and how to get started with the Arduino. So of course, this is one way of going about it. This way through my YouTube channel is another way to go about it. The things you'll need to go through this series is, of course, a Arduino board or some type of other Arduino or electric microcontroller. Some basic electronic components. This component kit that I've linked into the bio also includes a board. It's not an Arduino, but it also is compatible with the thing we'll be using to program the board, the Arduino IDE. So it can also work, as to my knowledge. It says in the Amazon page. So I choose to trust them. So of course, number one, a electric board. I have used the Arduino Uno for this. Arduino also offers other boards, but you can also use from the electronic components kit. There's an Illegal board, which is also compatible with the projects we're gonna make. That was number two, the basic electronic components kit. And number three, you'll be using the Arduino IDE, which is a integrated development environment where you can write some code to program the board to make the board do different things. I'll be teaching you in the later videos or projects. So of course, this is the introductory steps of what you need. I've linked them down in the bio, a link to Arduino's page and also a link to download the IDE. And I've also linked a link to the Amazon page where I found some of the electronic components kits. You can also, of course, find other kits. It was just one kit I found really quick, which looked to me like it included the things you needed and also a board. And it's fairly cheap where it's fairly cheap. I guess you can also find other kits which are not as expensive, but it looked as though it included a lot of the things and even more than the starter kit for maybe half the price. So to me it looked very good. And of course the project we'll be going through is the same as in the starter kit. You also, of course, get a little bit more knowledge from the starter kit. It comes with the project book. You can of course also just find the project books online, but to me it's a little bit easier to just watch it on YouTube, so you can kind of get a little bit of understanding more of the kit and the projects. So now that we've went through the things you want to, how to get started, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into the first project, the basic project. All right, guys, so for the first project we're gonna make in this video is how to build our first circuit and just some basic understanding of how it works. So we see here, we start with the board of our choice. I'm of course using the Arduino Uno. Then we need the breadboard. The breadboard works by, you can see there's a plus and a minus. The plus is for the power and the minus is for the ground. A circuit, when we're building a circuit, we also always need to think that we need to finish in a loop. So every circuit we make need to start with the power and go back to the ground. So we also need a diode where it has the long leg and the short leg. This is very important for building the circuit. We have the switch, and then we have 4 jumper wires, 2 which is more of elastic and 2 which is more fixed. It doesn't matter which one you're using, the ones comes in your kit. And we also have a 220 ohm resistor. If you want a little bit more descriptive version of a resistor. You can find videos on YouTube, but the basics of a resistor is that it resists the flow of electricity to meet the requirements of a specific electrical component. And this circuit will meet the requirement of a diode, which needs a 220 ohm resistor to have the electrical current that we need. Then we also need a USB 2.0 cable to power our Arduino and our circuit. So our first step is to connect our jumper wires from the ground and the 5 volts on our Arduino into our breadboard. So the black wire is where we connect it to the ground. It doesn't matter which wire you connect. We connect it from the ground on our Arduino into the minus on our breadboard. Then we take the red wire and put it into the 5 volts and then into the plus on the breadboard. The plus and the minus on the breadboard runs in the vertical direction, downwards and up, whereas the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J run in the horizontal direction. So for example, if we need to connect power to a electrical component in our breadboard, we need to take a jumper wire and connect the power over there to one of the A, B, C, D, E, which one will meet the requirements for the electrical components in the breadboard. I hope it makes sense. It'll make sense a little bit later. The line here in the middle means that it dismembers the 2 lines of the breadboard. So the A, B, C, D, E is solo from the F, G, H, I, J. So these are not connected. So after we've connected the power and the ground, we need to take our 220 ohm resistor from the power into one of the lines in our breadboard. Seconds, we'll just have it connected here. Here we go. You see now the resistor runs from the plus, the power on our breadboard, into line number 11 on the breadboard. So now we see the power is now into the column number 11 on the breadboard. Then we take our switch. You see the switch has 4 pins. For this project, we only need 2 of them. So we'll connect one of the pins to the column where it has electricity, and we'll add another jumper wire. I've got this small little gimmick here to place my small jumper wires. It's very smart. We'll take this from the other side of the pin, of the other column of the pin, take the jumper wire here, and we'll place the diode, the long leg of the diode, aka the anode, into the power side of the circuit. This is very important. The anode, the long side of the diode, is where the power will go into, and the small or the smaller leg of the diode is the cathode, where the ground will be connected. So now that we know that, we have connected one side of the pin to the other side of the diode here. See? So now we connect the other side of the diode, the cathode, to the ground column here. We see? Now we have a full circuit. We have the power going into the resistor, into the switch, into the diode, which then goes back to the ground, into the Arduino. So now that we've built our first circuit, we need to power it up. So I use my computer. You can use someone uses a battery, but it's very smart you can connect the USB into your computer, and then the other side of the USB cable, the 2.0 cable, into your Arduino here. There we go. See, it fires up. You see there's common light on the on side of the Arduino. So now let's test the circuit out to see if it's running. So if I should press the switch now, there should come light into the diode since it sends electrical current when I press the switch into the diode, which then should light it up. Let's see. Oh, I see the problem. See, there we go. We just need to switch it over a little bit. Go. It's part of the process. There we go. You see, I hadn't fully connected one of the pins into the switch here. Just minor adjustment. There we go. So now it should work. There we go. It has power. So now you've built your first circuit, and you're ready to go into a little bit more difficult stuff. So I'll see you in the next video.